Thanks and welcome to join me on the 6:15 News. I'm Kejang Henry Atembe. Now let's flag gangs specialize in the production of fraudulent documents and national identity cards. Thanks and welcome to join me. I'm Kejang Henry Atembe, and of course our platforms are open for consultation. Like we announced in our headlines, the Norwegian Secret Service has knocked out one of the most notorious leaders of the Ambazonian Defense Forces, Lucas Ayabacho. The Ambazonian kingpin has been arrested in connection with crimes against humanity in the armed conflict in Cameroon's northwest and southwest regions. The news was broken by a popular Norwegian news site, VG, of a man who, in his 50s, who has been arrested by the Norwegian Cliquez, that is the equivalent of the Interpol, on the heels of his arrest. Ayabacho Lucas posted on his social media handle announcing his arrest, and the message reads, "Fellow Ambassadors, fellow Amberlanders, I have just been arrested here in Oslo, Norway. I will be fine. Stay strong and stay fast. Our fight for liberation is just a noble cause. My lawyer has already been briefed." That was Ayabacho reacting. And then reacting to the arrest of Lucas Ayabacho, Barrister Emmanuel Salai says they are working and doing everything to prevent on the heels of a complaint that was filed in the United States of America to make sure they bring to book all those who are responsible for crimes against humanity in the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. We will be coming up with developments of that story as it unfolds. And we move over to the northwest region, where it has regained steam after a 10-day lockdown imposed by separatists in the English-speaking part of the country. And so northwest region, and Bamenda in particular, has gathered steam, as we are hearing from you, Annie Collins and Sherifa Saleh.
Socioeconomic activities have resumed in Bamenda, northwest region of Cameroon, after the 10-day lockdown imposed by separatists. The streets of the northwest chief town have been bustling again, with markets, shops, and transport taking their places again.
We don't even try, or we're not there. Because those stuff is cheap for us. Me and this one don't pay books. Now on the 10th of this month, September, but by now, I still for us the book they're almost finished.
But how else gainful did some people use the close to 2 weeks of hibernation?
It's that time now to do a lot of farm work, and then even to turn around my house and keep the places clean. And then I did some other family issues. We had some meetings. So to me it was very, very, that's how you do it.
With the first 2 weeks of academic work almost lost, the teaching and learning process have also taken off, like in this primary school, already taking the first lessons, but none of the officials accepted to grant an interview for what they say are obvious reasons.
And we move over to Ngaoundéré, that is in the Damawa region, where a daring intervention by residents around Ngaoundéré there had actually prevented the rape of a 7-year-old child by a serial rapist, and this offender was apprehended thanks to the collaboration of the population. Sherifa Saleh once more report.
A shocking incident of attempted rape was thwarted in Ngaoundéré's Yoko neighborhood thanks to a swift action by local residents. A 30-year-old man, believed to have a history of similar crimes, was caught trying to abuse a 7-year-old girl in her home. According to eyewitnesses, the suspect broke into the house, tied up the girl, and began gathering valuables, including a television, phone, and clothing. Moments later, he attempted to assault the child, who was left naked and helpless. The child's cries for help alerted neighbors, who rushed to her aid and apprehended the suspect, though the man denied this, claiming he targeted the house, thinking it was empty.
On l'a retrouvée avec un préservatif. La fille était ligotée et en pleurs.
La fille était ligotée et pleurait.
Fortunately, medical examinations revealed no evidence of sexual assault. The traumatized child was rushed to the hospital for treatment while the suspect was taken into custody at the Central Police Station.
À mon arrivée à Yoko, j'ai d'abord inspecté le domicile. Quand j'ai constaté que les occupants n'étaient pas là, je suis entré dans la maison.
This disturbing incident has raised concerns about safety and security in Gaoundéré, with residents calling for increased vigilance and stricter measures to prevent similar cases.
And 4 persons specialized in the production of fake documents, and including national identity cards, have been arrested in Yaoundé. This arrest comes on the heels of a specialized operation led by the National Gendarmerie. High-Sincere report.
Impressive at first sight, the contents of an entire laboratory.
Well, we are sorry for that poor quality of the report. That we are expecting to have High-Sincere back with the report, but just time for us to see that where there is the rising, the cost of rice, which is a staple food in more than 99% of households in the country, is surging, and residents in Cameroon's economic capital have been complaining of the rising cost of rice. Details with our reporter, Cynthia Latte.
La boîte du riz, c'est 300 francs.
Housewives in Douala are facing a stark new reality as the price of rice continues to climb. Gone are the days when a simple cup of rice could be purchased for 100 francs CFA. Now, that same cup is priced between 250 and 300 CFA francs, forcing families to make painful sacrifices.
Avant, on vendait la boîte de riz à 100 francs.
Before, I used to sell a cup of rice at 100 to 150 francs, and now I sell it at 200 to 250 CFA francs because a bag of 25 kilograms of rice, which was sold at 8,000 francs, is now 13,000 francs. The atmosphere in the market is tense. Wholesale vendors are feeling the strain too as they grapple with the dual challenge of rising prices and declining sales. Before, I used to buy a 50 kilogram of bag of rice at 18,500 francs, but now it is sold at 25,000 CFA francs, pushing us retailers to sell a cup of rice sold at 150 francs before to rise to 250 francs. Even at that price, we don't make our profits. Retailers echo these sentiments, caught in a cycle of explaining price increases to confused buyers. Vendors have called for intervention, fearing that without help, both their livelihoods and the food security of their communities are at risk. Before, 25 kilograms of rice used to cost less than 7,000 francs, but today we don't understand why it should be sold at more than 13,000 francs since we buy at 12,500 francs. And except, as the crisis deepens, the people of Douala face a growing food insecurity that threatens their daily lives. The urgent need for solutions becomes clear as families and vendors alike look to the future, hoping for a return to stability and nourishment.
And with the soaring price of imported rice as a result of a combination of economic disruptions, experts are now calling on Cameroon to ramp up production of its local rice to meet up with domestic demands. Ambo Gladys.
The global rice market has been in turmoil for the last 3 years, with prices steadily increasing. In 2020, a ton of rice on the international market cost around $486. Today, the same ton cost $650, a dramatic rise that reflects the growing scarcity of rice worldwide.
In 2021, we imported in Cameroon 1.2 million tons. It was not sufficient, but it was Okay, but if you observe now what happened in 2022, we dropped to 900,000 tons. In 2023, the country dropped to 600,000 tons. When it is like that, it's clear that prices will become high in the market.
India accounts for nearly 50% of the global rice trade, and its export ban has sent shockwaves across international markets. This has been exacerbated by maritime freight costs and fluctuating foreign exchange rates.
With India export restrictions, many importers have turned to Thailand. Even long Thai rice remains expensive and in high demand. Another reason for the hike in rice prices is maritime freight costs that have surged from $2,000 to nearly $6,000. Fluctuating foreign exchange rates have also further complicated international trade.
Experts argue that boosting local rice production could reduce Cameroon's reliance on costly imports, but significant challenges remain.
In terms of research, for instance, we see that Iraq has developed more than 26 varieties of rice. We just need political will.
This is why government intervention is critical.
As rice prices continue to rise, Cameroon faces a stark choice to remain dependent on fluctuating international markets or invest in its local agricultural sector.
And it is time to move over to Oyomabang neighborhood in Yaoundé, trapped in a web of deplorable roads. Hyacinthe Cha says the residents in that part of the political capital say there is just no difference between what they are living and what the fishes are living inside the lake. I say.
This road is only for the experience.
Oh, sorry, it's rather unfortunate we might not be having Hyacinth's report on the very deplorable state of the roads in Oyomabang, but just time for us to turn to something different, still talking about economy. Well, we talked about more criminality in Cameroon, and this time we move over to the Littoral region, where the governor of the Littoral region has assured residents that the situation that occurred last week is under control. The town, part of the town, was taken hostage by a group of city gang known as Le Microbe. Let's have the details.
This education reform support program in Cameroon, dubbed PAREC, is one of the flagship of the cooperation with the World Bank. Imperative, therefore, for the stakeholders and parties to know whether they are on track since January to June 2024, and also how successful they've been with recommendations. 3,000 new teachers were recruited and deployed. 3,283 teachers trained on the use of the new curricula, among many.
Around 60%. The situation is, I think, is good in general.
Development objectives of PAREC is to improve the allocation of teachers recruited by the government in public primary schools, strengthen capacities of teachers in effective and efficient use of new curricula, increase the availability of textbooks in schools, and improve the environment and quality of education in primary schools in areas hosting refugees and internally displaced persons. Also on agenda is the 210 million CFA francs deployed to handle the recent flood in Yagua, Far North region.
And many of our schools were affected. So we were looking at how the government and the World Bank would support to ameliorate the situation.
Discussion was also on the disturbing issue of birth certificate for all Class 6 pupils, likely to take a different approach in the future.
We will insist on children coming in with their birth certificates upon registration in the primary schools. That way we are sure that
efforts are on course to meet the 2026 deadline to attain the objective of the Education Reform Support Program in Cameroon.
Thanks very much, Beatrice in Cameroon. Sorry for that mix-up there. The U.S. Embassy in Cameroon has unveiled a 2-year program designed to enhance the language skill of young people. The program, which is a transformative initiative for empowering the economically challenged persons, is going to run as one of the cultural values of the 21st century. Ambo Gladys Dibang.
To equip young French-speaking Cameroonians aged 13 to 20 with vital language competencies and a deeper understanding of the American culture, the American Embassy State Department has initiated a 2-year training program. The initiative targets economically disadvantaged yet academically promising students.
Work with schools such show us students who are maybe orphans or those who cannot afford to pay their school fees.
The program seeks to cultivate future leaders who are not only proficient in English but also well-versed in the values that underpin American society and their environment. Knowledge acquired through this initiative is anticipated to foster an understanding of the 21st century skills that could also help counteract the pervasive issue of hate speech, a significant concern in today's Cameroonian context.
They are not just taught the English language, they are taught American culture and values, and this time around we're going to include 21st century skills, including communication, critical thinking, ICTs, and creativity, in fact.
Once you become, those two kids become leaders, they will know what it takes to kind of accept the difference of the other person, and that will go a long way in helping people, shy away from hate speech.
As part of this initiative, teachers selected for the Access program are enhancing their teaching skills at the Douala Linguistic Center, September 25, 2024.
More than just English, because you need to add some 21st century skills, global citizenship themes, and even U.S. culture and values added to it. So there are specificities that need to be kind of mastered by the teachers of the Access program, and that's what the training is all about.
The Douala, Berswa, and Gaoundéré Linguistic Centers are benefiting from the program that runs from 2025 to 2027.
Thanks very much, Ambo Gladys Dibang, drawing the cuttings for this edition of the 6:15 News with me, Kejan Henry Atimber, of course, in which you got information that Ambassador and Kingpin Dr. Ayabacho Lucas has been arrested by the Norwegian Secret Service in connection with crimes against humanity in the armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Thanks very much for being there with us. Good day.